Hello, my stars, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Basil, and today I will be reading Midoriya's Pocket Dimension Hair by Z Sleepy Cat Z on AO3. This is a one shot, so it will be very quick. Now, here's the summary. Hitoshi thought he was dreaming the first time he saw it. He wasn't sure what he saw at the time, but now he knows that it comes in extremely handy. And it also makes Midoriya pretty scary. Or, 5 times Midoriya has the perfect thing in his hair for the situation, and the one time he doesn't. 1. The first time Hitoshi sees it, he thinks he is dreaming. Mike Sensei is waiting at the door to the classroom for Midnight Sensei to arrive to start her class. So Hitoshi decides to catch a quick nap during the short break between classes. Not that it ever works, but he can always hope. He rests his head on his crossed arms and closes his eyes. His classmates become background noise as he starts to drift off. But then, he hears a growling noise close by. He lifts his head slightly to see where the sound is coming from. His gaze lands on Midoriya, who sighs and sets down his pencil. "I guess it's snack time," whispers Midoriya. If Hitoshi wasn't listening, he probably wouldn't have heard it. Hitoshi watches as Midoriya puts his hand into his hair. Then, he pulls out a stick and proceeds to bite into it. Hitoshi blinks. What? Did Midoriya just take a stick out of his hair and eat it? Hitoshi watches as Midoriya finishes the stick and licks his fingers. Then, he hears another growl. This time, the sound comes from him. Midoriya turns around to look at him. "Oh, are you hungry too, Shinsou?" asks Midoriya. Before Hitoshi can respond, Midoriya continues, "Here, have a snack." Hitoshi watches as Midoriya pulls out another stick from his hair and holds it up to him. In a daze, Hitoshi takes the snack from Midoriya. "Enjoy," says Midoriya, before he turns away to scribble back into his notebook. Hitoshi stares at the snack in his hand for a second. Upon closer inspection, Hitoshi realizes that it's not a normal stick. It's a pretzel stick. Hitoshi shrugs and eats the pretzel. He is hungry after all. After polishing off the snack, Hitoshi sets his head back into his arms to continue his nap. 2. After the first time, Hitoshi is sure it was just a dream. So, he is surprised to see it happen a second time. The classroom is quiet apart from the scratching of pencils on paper. They are in the middle of a math test. It's not very hard, but it is very long. Hitoshi's concentration is pulled from his test by a cracking sound from in front of him. He looks up to see Midoriya's pencil snapped in half. He must have broken it on accident again. It happens all the time. Usually, Midoriya will grab a new one from his bag. However, they weren't allowed to have their bags with them during this test to prevent cheating. Hitoshi waits for Midoriya to raise his hand to ask for a new pencil, but it never happens. Instead, he watches as Midoriya sticks his hand into his hair and pulls out a new pencil. That's not too surprising. Lots of people keep pencils in their hair or behind their ears. Hitoshi notices that it's an unused pencil. How is Midoriya going to write with that? To Hitoshi's astonishment, he watches Midoriya stick his hand into his hair once again and take out a pencil sharpener. Huh? He reaches his hands up to rub his eyes. Is he seeing things, or did that really just happen? He looks around the room. Nobody else seems to have noticed. He turns his head back to watch Midoriya pull an eraser out of his hair and set it on the desk, and then proceed to sharpen his new pencil. He stares for longer than he probably should. "There are 20 minutes remaining," calls out Ectoplasm Sensei. That snaps Hitoshi out of it and back to his test. He can question Midoriya about what he saw later. Right now, he needs to focus on his test. 3. Hitoshi never ends up asking Midoriya about it, but he hopes the next time he isn't the only one to see it. His hope is answered a few weeks later. He and Midoriya are out shopping with Aizawa Sensei when they are attacked by villains. The villains are fairly easy to take down. However, the issue comes after. They aren't wearing their hero gear, so they don't have all of their equipment. I don't have enough handcuffs for all of the villains, says Aizawa sensei as he turns to Hitoshi. You're going to have to hold the remaining 2 villains until the police arrives. Hitoshi nods as he holds the 2 villains with his cork. They aren't fighting his mental hold very much, but it's still annoying. I have something you can use, sensei, says Midoriya as he puts his hand into his hair. Here, you can use these. He proceeds to pull out some zip ties from his hair. Aizawa sensei sighs and accepts one of the zip ties from Midoriya wordlessly. Midoriya smiles and goes to tie up one of the villains while Aizawa sensei does the same with the other. When both villains are secure, Hitoshi drops his hold on them and walks towards Aizawa sensei. When Midoriya is out of earshot, he whispers, You saw that too, right, sensei? I'm not going crazy. Aizawa sensei looks Hitoshi dead in the eye before speaking. I don't know what you're talking about. I never saw anything, and neither did you. Understood? Hitoshi gulps. Yes, sir. Hitoshi turns away to look at Midoriya, the Midoriya who always causes problems for Aizawa sensei. Oh, thinks Hitoshi. Sensei must not want to deal with that if he doesn't have to. The cops show up soon after, and the incident is never spoken of again. 4. Hitoshi is once again off school grounds with Midoriya when it happens again. However, this time, Aizawa sensei isn't with them. Hitoshi hears a scuffle from an alleyway and turns to look, only to see Midoriya sprinting in that direction with his cork. Hitoshi runs to catch up, but he isn't as fast. He arrives in time to see 3 middle schoolers running out of the alleyway. You might have been saved this time, but we'll get you next time. Hitoshi frowned. That doesn't sound very good. He rushes into the alleyway to see Midoriya hugging a crying middle schooler. It's going to be all right. I'm here now, says Midoriya. You shouldn't have helped, says the middle schooler. They're just going to come back tomorrow, and when you aren't here. Darn, thinks Hitoshi. He recognizes this. He's gone through this too. The middle schooler is getting bullied. I know, says Midoriya, with a sad expression on his face. Have you talked to anyone about this? I did, but no one ever believes me, says the middle schooler. Have you tried videotaping the incidents? Asks Midoriya. Then you can go to the police with evidence. The middle schooler sniffles. I tried once, but they caught me. They beat me up even more that day, so I never tried again. Hitoshi's heart just breaks. His bullying was luckily never this bad, because his parents stopped it before it could come to this extent. Midoriya nods. I understand. Have you ever tried hiding the camera in your hair? No, never, replies the middle schooler. I think you should start then. You can even hide other things up there too. They never think to look there, and neither do villains. Midoriya winks at the middle schooler. It works like a charm, trust me. Hitoshi thinks it sounds like he's talking from experience. Now come on, let's go to the police station so I can introduce you to one of my favorite law enforcement officers, Detective Tsukuachi, says Midoriya as he gets up. You can tell him all about the bullying. But I told you, I have no proof. He won't believe me, cries the middle schooler. You might not, says Midoriya as he sticks his hand into his hair, but I do. And then he pulls out a very small camera, grinning. Hitoshi can't help but think that it looks a little scary. 5. Hitoshi sighs. Why do things like to always happen when he is with Midoriya? He was just minding his own business, walking across the street, when he and Midoriya were attacked from behind and knocked out. The next thing he knows, he wakes up on the floor in cork cuffs beside Midoriya. He kicks his classmate. Hey, Midoriya, wake up, he whispers. Midoriya blinks his eyes open and sits up. Hitoshi does the same. So, he gulps. Any ideas how to get out of here? Well, I can't hear anyone outside the door, so there must not be anyone guarding it, says Midoriya. So I think if we can get out of this room, we can slip away undetected or fight our way out. Hitoshi nods. Good plan. But how are we going to get out of these handcuffs? He lifts his hands to his face for emphasis. Midoriya grins. Like this! Then he lifts his hands to his hair and pulls out a lock-picking kit. Hitoshi's jaw drops. See, nobody ever checks up here. He stares at Midoriya as he fiddles with the handcuffs. He hears a click, and Midoriya's hands are free from the device. Your turn, exclaims Midoriya as he starts to work on Hitoshi's. Is your hair a pocket dimension or something? Asks Hitoshi before he can stop himself. Midoriya pauses, working on the cork cuffs, and looks up at Hitoshi with wide eyes. What? Hitoshi continues. Well, I've seen you pull out a plethora of things from your hair. There's no way all that can fit. So it has to be a pocket dimension. Midoriya starts to shake and then bursts out laughing. Shh, says Hitoshi. We don't want our kidnappers to hear us. That seems to work as Midoriya's laughing quiets down. I'm sorry, says Midoriya, wheezing. Nobody's ever said that before, and they don't usually notice either. Oh, I see, says Hitoshi. But he really doesn't. How has nobody ever noticed before? That doesn't make any sense. Though he lets it go. So, is there anything you don't have hidden in your hair? Asks Hitoshi. Now that they are talking about it, he might as well ask all of his questions. Of course there is, responds Midoriya. There are plenty of things. Like what? Asks Hitoshi. He doesn't believe Midoriya. Thinks Midoriya. Oh, like an umbrella. I don't have that. I've been caught in the rain enough times to remember. Hitoshi rolls his eyes. That doesn't count. Your hair is wild enough to be an umbrella all on its own. Hey, that's mean, says Midoriya, pouting. He looks down and they realize Midoriya stopped picking his handcuffs. I should just leave you here for that. You wouldn't dare, challenges Hitoshi. Maybe not, but you're still going to pay for that, Shinsou, says Midoriya. The next second, he hears a click, and Hitoshi's cork cuffs fall to the floor. They both get up and walk to the door. I wish I had my capture weapon, says Hitoshi. Oh, that's right, you fight better with a weapon. Hitoshi watches as Midoriya takes a pocket knife out of his hair. Here you go. Hitoshi snickers and accepts the weapon. Are you sure your hair isn't a pocket dimension? Midoriya laughs again. I'm sure. Now let's go. Midoriya pushes the door open and they began their escape. Later, after they return to the dorms, Hitoshi realizes just how well prepared Midoriya is for any situation. And maybe that also makes him a little scary. +1. It's a few weeks later when Hitoshi finally sees that Midoriya was telling the truth. Hitoshi walks into the bathroom to find Midoriya staring into the mirror. He doesn't seem to have noticed Hitoshi. Midoriya turns on the tap and sticks his hands under the water. He proceeds to use his wet hands to flatten his hair. But when he pulls them away, it puffs right back up to its usual fluffiness. Midoriya sighs and tries again, but he gets the same results. He turns off the tap and finally spots Hitoshi. Oh, Shinsou, how long have you been standing there? Asks Midoriya. For about a minute, replies Hitoshi. Are you having hair troubles? Midoriya nods. Yeah, I can never get it to do what I want. My hair is similar. I can give you some tips if you would like, proposes Hitoshi. Midoriya brightens up. Really? I would love that. Thank you. What should I do then? Midoriya turns back to the mirror to wait for instructions. Well, if you wet a comb, it usually helps, says Hitoshi. Or if you brush out your hair, that might work too. That's cool. I'll try that, says Midoriya. Then the bathroom falls into silence. You're not going to try it now? Asks Hitoshi. No, how can I try it now? I don't have a comb. replies Midoriya. You don't have a what? Exclaims Hitoshi. But you have everything in your pocket dimension hair. I told you it's not a pocket dimension, says Midoriya. Regardless, that's like one of the first things anyone ever hides in their hair. Says Hitoshi. I thought you would at least have that. Is it? Says Midoriya, surprised. Where have you seen that before? On TV. Now Hitoshi is staring, starting to doubt himself. Like all of the popular kids do it or something. Oh, I never knew that, says Midoriya. The bathroom falls into silence once again. So how about you come to my dorm room after school, and I can help you with your hair while we watch some of those shows? Asks Hitoshi. That sounds like fun, says Midoriya with a bright smile. And Hitoshi thinks that this smile is a lot less scary than the other one. Alright, my stars, that is the end of that fic. I really hope you enjoyed. I can say that I enjoyed it very much. This is my third time rereading this. I just like it. Oh my god, I know I did a few mistakes here and there. I just haven't been there right now. So there might be like one or two, but that's like in almost all my videos. So it shouldn't be that much of a problem if you guys still listen to me. But yeah, like I said, I really enjoyed this fic. Like Midoriya's hair is always so fluffy. It's shocking how he can't just pull out anything from his hair. It just seems like it would be a pocket dimension, like any other fluffy hair. Seriously. But I really hope you enjoyed it, because I know that I did. If you guys have any other fanfic recommendations, you can put them down in the comments below, or you could join the Discord and put them in the channel there. All my socials and Discord server are down in the description below. And I always love to see all your guys' comments. You can go drop a comment down below, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye, my stars.